Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, actually right at 7 p.m. Look at me being on time, not too shabby at all. I'm here and I want to do another show because during yesterday's show, during the comments, or maybe it was right after the show, people started putting in comments. They were saying, wait a minute, Larry, this was nice how you did Biden. Do Harris next. That was basically the request. You did Biden. Do Harris next. So I thought maybe I would do Harris's speech. But the problem is doing Harris's speech, one, it'd be kind of boring, and then it's just an attack on Harris. And I don't just want to do that. I wanted to show the media and the press and kind of how things, that's why I wanted to show The View, right? The View shows how the mainstream media, the mainstream press shows and coddles the establishment. That's kind of what I wanted to show. I didn't want to necessarily just beat up on Biden. That's easy to do. Anybody can do that. So when I thought about doing her speech, I thought, you know what? No, not going to do her speech. I'm going to do her interview after her speech. Her speech, for those of you who watched it, she did a speech on the economy. If you watch that speech, you'll notice there's basically nothing in it. It has like no meat. It's about 45 minutes, and there's probably 5 minutes of like a little chunk of a little protein. That's about it. It's like a little bit, just sprinkle of protein, about 5 minutes out of 45. The rest is just pure fluff and sugar. And if you like Harris, it's amazing. She gave you lots of fluff and sugar, tons of Orange Man Bad. You have to do, that's required, right? Orange Man Bad's always required. So tons of Orange Man Bad, little bit of protein, like a little sprinkle of protein, and mostly fluff. That's kind of what it was. So I thought, you know what? I won't do that. Instead, I will do the interview she did afterwards, which was a hard-hitting interview from MSNBC. Yeah. Well, here's what I will say. Some of the questions that were asked, and I'll show you in a minute, were actually good questions. Some of them were, but I don't know what the answers were. Wow. Immediately, we have a super chat. Guys, thank you so much. Lunatic, how are you, my friend? Immediately, thank you for the $4.99. Larry, we are fast-tracked to a communist state. Yes. If the Democrat wins, wrong. Question mark. Policy will end millions. If I'm correct, your thoughts. No, we're fast-tracked to a communist state no matter who wins. Why do I say that? You might go, but Larry, Trump's not a communist. Harris is a communist. Well, Trump's not a communist. That's true. But actually, neither is Kamala. Harris is not a communist either. Harris is a whateverist. She will do whatever is required to win. She does not care. She's authoritarian, that's for sure. But so is Trump. But absolutely, she's actually clearly more authoritarian than Trump is. But they're both authoritarian. Neither of them is communist. Those are the assaults they use against each other. Now, Waltz, that's different, lunatic. Waltz is an actual lefty. He moves more towards socialism, more towards communism, more towards that. He leans definitely more in that realm. Harris actually doesn't. If you notice, all her rhetoric is not hardcore left at all. It's not hardcore left. It's whatever she thinks will be popular. You see how she dodges. I'm going to show you in a minute. She dodges questions just to be popular. She's just trying to win. If Harris believed being an all-out communist, a Maoist, if she believed that would get her a win, she'd be that. If she thought being a libertarian would make her win, she'd be that. She will be whatever it is. She is a chameleon. That's what she actually is. So I'm not sure that's true. Next piece is either way it goes towards authoritarianism. It probably goes less authoritarianism. I'm not sure. The issue with Trump is much more of it's about me, and Harris is much about it's about the control of the entire nation. But they're both selfish in that regard. There's differently how they do it. But no matter who wins, remember, 4 years from now we get the opposite. If Trump wins, 4 years from now we get President AOC or whatever, right? If Harris wins, 4 years now we get President Ted Cruz or something, whatever, right? We get the next person in line either way. The system has to be broken. So the policies will be bad. Yes, they already are bad. but they're going to try to make policies that keep us just on the edge. That's the actual goal. They want us just on the edge of anger and disdain. And so far, they've been pretty good at it. I hope I answered your question. I'm not sure if you agree, but I hope I answered your question at least. If I get so, thank you so much, guys. By the way, if you do want to do that, you can always super chat me if you happen to be on Larry Sharpe YouTube. That your chat goes right to the front. Absolutely. If you want to become a member, you can. Please go head over to Larry Sharpe YouTube. Click that join button. 49 makes you a member, and members, I put their chats to the front too, because they're members, obviously. But no matter what, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my channels, following them, all those things, clearly you have a mental disorder. Stop that. It's not good. And if you're watching on Twitter or someplace like that, please do me a favor, retweet or repost or share on Facebook, whatever. But under any and all circumstances, whatever it is, come out from outside the ring with a folding chair and attack the like button, the button that is like. Do that. Make sure you hit it from the top rope, elbow blast, top rope. Take care of it. Whatever you got to do. Hit the button known as like. It does matter. It is how people will see me, how people will care. It is because of the like button. So please do so. It does matter. All right. I think I gathered pretty much everything I wanted to gather. So yes, let me begin this if I can, if I may, if I shall. Let's go ahead and let the punishment begin. Is it punishment? It kind of is. We'll let the punishment begin. All righty.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future. Yeah, but
look at how happy she is. I got to tell you, Stephanie Rule, what a horrible person to call herself a journalist. And I mean that really. Like, if you just want to call yourself a surrogate, I don't mind. Be a surrogate for the campaign. I've been a surrogate for RFK Jr. I was a surrogate for Gary Johnson. And when I'm an open surrogate for Gary Johnson, or an open surrogate for RFK Jr., I support them. I smile. I call them great. Yes, you know I'm a surrogate. I'm wearing it on my sleeve. You expect it. Literally, Larry Sharpe speaking for RFK Jr., Larry Sharpe speaking for Gary Johnson. Okay, I'm not pretending to be a journalist when I do that. You know exactly who I am. Why doesn't she just say, hey, you know what? I'm a surrogate for Democrats. I'm a Democratic surrogate. Let's do this. That would be fine. But she's not. She's pretending she's a journalist, and she's not. She is an establishment hack, and it's embarrassing that she is that, but she has no shame, none, zero shame being the establishment hack that she is.
Still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, here's the problem. For those who say, she said, who don't see themselves in your policies, which don't exist, who don't see themselves in the policies which you have not detailed in any way, shape, or form, who can't imagine themselves in policies because they're ephemeral and don't matter whatsoever. The people who like you are people who are already privileged and doing well, and they don't care about your policies anyway, and they smile. They're people like me, educated women who make 6 and 7 figures a year, and we don't care about anybody else. We just want a virtue signal. What do you say to those other people? You know, the poors. What do you say to the poors? That's how she should have said it.
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do.
She believed that. Okay, so she believes that all Americans have these. That's awesome. I think we're good. Already we started off because Michael says cringe version 2.0. Yes, it is accurate. Yes, it is accurate. Yes. Blue Black Boss, thank you for being a member, my friend. Hypothetically, which dystopian future of America would be easier to save? A communist Harris or a communist Harris-Sar or a Trump dictatorship? I could see it going either way, right? Because there is a point that if it turns so badly that someone could step up and show success. That's the issue. Someone's got to step up, right? And do that. Someone's got to remember, people don't become good or turn or change because things are bad. That's not why they do it. They do it because things are bad, plus there's hope, right? That's the issue. There's got to also be hope. That is the piece. Things have got to be bad, and there's got to be hope. And I think things getting bad could create the hope, if that makes any sense. So it could be either. When the hope pops up, that's what matters. Shelly says, good evening. This is 2 nights in a row. You're making me watch bad news channels that I've banned. Good thing we love you, Larry. No one else will talk about torture. Yeah, well, I'm going to try to make it interesting. And again, the reason why I bring this up is literally millions of people watch this, right? Millions of people watch this. And they believe that it's real, and they believe what is said, and they think this is the norm. And they honestly believe that Stephanie Ruhle is an actual journalist. They believe this completely. They believe that she is a journalist, and that means that what she says is real, and that means the answers she gives are real answers. And that's the piece that most people don't get. And that's why I try to show you, because some of you are like, I would never believe this ever. That's crazy. Why would I believe this? That's the point. Exactly the point. I want you to see this is real. Yes. All right.
You're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really
you're in her plan.
Love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams. We can.
She used that twice, and that's the thing she keeps using. She uses aspirations, dreams, things like that, because that feels good. That is very vibes. That is very nice sounding things. She uses it, and it makes sense because it works, right? She's not wrong. That actually does work. People like it. It feels good. And so she uses it. The sad part is it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's just like, so what are you going to tell people what do you tell the poors? The people who you don't care about one single bit. What are you going to tell them? Oh, dreams and aspirations. I'll tell them that. I'll give them vibes. That's what she's doing. Lunatic, thank you for the $2. The people, not the individual, united people. Yes, but, and I very often have yes, buts with you, Lunatic, very often. Yes, but there still does have to be a reason to unite, a uniting idea or feature. There has to be that. And I think right now we're missing it, right? We're missing it. That's the issue. There has to be that. And I think she's trying to hope and change thing that Obama had. She's trying it. I get it. She doesn't mean any of it. And that's my point. She doesn't mean any of it. None of it.
See what's possible. We have an incredible work ethic.
Possible. Work ethic.
But not everyone has the access to the opportunities that allow them to achieve those things. That's the problem. But we don't lack for those things. But not everyone, gets handed stuff on a silver platter. And so my vision for the economy, I call it an opportunity economy, is about making.
She's talking about an opportunity economy. And I like the idea. It sounds amazing. And I do. I like the sound of that. The problem is it means nothing. She's sitting here saying we have a work ethic, but people don't have things handed to them. That's the point of having a work ethic. If you notice, what she's saying literally makes no sense. If you're saying we have a great work ethic, that means we don't have to have everything handed to you. Literally, that's what it means. What it actually means is, as long as it's fair, people who work harder will get better, right? That's what it's actually saying. But she's not saying that. What she's saying is we have to hand out things to you. This piece drives us crazy. Yes.
Sure that all Americans, wherever they start, wherever they are, have the ability to actually achieve those dreams and those ambitions, which include, for middle-class families, just being able.
But do you understand what she's trying to say? What she's saying is, I want equal outcomes. And to be forward again, sounds amazing. I love the sound of equal outcomes. That's amazing. Everyone's going to do well. Sounds great. The problem is equal outcomes always winds up making things worse. You don't want to get equal outcomes. You want to have equal opportunities and for people to have the outcomes that they want, right? That's the critical aspect. Are people getting what they want? If they're not, we're in trouble.
People to know that their hard work allows them to get ahead, right? I think we can't and we shouldn't aspire to have an economy that just allows people to.
Here's the part that's amazing. If you're actually watching this, and Stephanie is not touching this at all because she doesn't care. She's a hack. So she would never care about this. But the piece here that's amazing is it's almost as if she's talking like Harris is not the incumbent, right? She's talking like Trump is the incumbent, right? Isn't that weird? She's talking as if Trump is the president now, and we need this change for her to come in. Yet she's the one in charge. It's actually pretty well done if you see how she's doing it. It's actually pretty savvy.
Get by. People want to do more than just get by. They want to get ahead.
Yes.
And I come from the middle class. Look, my mother raised my sister and me. She worked hard. She saved up.
Yeah. Since she goes into this piece, I want to say thank you again, Lunatic, for $2. I need that boot off my neck. No handouts. Thank you. Give me an equal opportunity chance and we'll be good. The rest I don't care about. 100%. Yes.
By the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. And, home ownership for too many people in our country now is elusive. Gone is the day of everyone thinking they could actually live the American dream. So
she's smiling about that. Did you notice what Stephanie's doing? She's literally smiling about that. She's looking at it and she's smiling. She's not saying, oh my God, you're right, it's terrible. Yeah, these people, they can't buy housing. I have my third, but these people can't buy it. It's terrible.
Part of my vision for the economy is let's deal with some of the everyday challenges that people face and address them with common sense solutions, such as affordable housing.
So a common sense solution, such as affordable housing, that's not a solution. That's an outcome that you want. I get it. How do you get there? I don't know. It doesn't matter. She just smiles and says it. Now, you'd think she'd push back because she never answered the question. Do you remember what the question was? Wasn't the question something like, if you're one of the poor people that we don't care about, what should you tell them? And she had nothing for them because she doesn't have a question. She doesn't have an answer. Of course not.
Over the last 4 years, there have been tremendous economic wins, and you've just laid out a big plan. But
did you hear what she just said? Over the past 4 years, there have been tremendous economic wins. Can you name one? Can you name one? Why doesn't she have a name one? We've done so much. Biden's so great. So many wins. Okay, name one. Most people feel like the economy's worse. Most people feel like their environment's worse. Most people are struggling to keep jobs or get jobs. You just said we can't buy houses. People can't buy houses. But she goes, but so many great wins, so many wonderful things. And you've just come up with a great plan. She has not set a plan. No one here watching can tell what her plan is. No one can say it because there is no plan. So what Stephanie Ruhle is doing right now is, you know what? You've been lying and fluffing for about the past 3.5 years. I'm just going to say you're awesome. Can please tell me, why do people not get you're awesome?
Still, polling shows that most likely voters still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
Why do these idiots not recognize how awesome you are? I'll rephrase that question. Madam Vice President, woman who makes me feel better about myself, woman who, if I can say I have a black friend now, makes me feel like I'm not the racist that I actually am. I would like to know, why do these stupid pores not get how awesome you are? Can you answer that they don't understand how awesome you are, these stupid pores? My black friend that now makes me feel like I'm not racist? Please answer that question. And don't bother to answer if you don't want to. Say random stuff if you want to. I will act like you've answered the question, regardless of what you say. Your turn.
Well, here's what I know in terms of the facts.
Oh, facts.
Donald Trump.
Bingo. Here is what I know. Orange man bad. Done. Question answered. Question answered. Any question? Can you tell me, if you don't mind, can you tell me how much a price of a soda cost at the store? Orange man bad. Oh, thank you. Perfect. Can you tell me how to get can you please tell me how to get to the bus stop? Orange man bad. Oh, got it. Good. Okay. Why is my car? What's the sound of my car? Orange man bad. Got it. Good. So we have answered all the questions.
Left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression when you look at, for example, the employment numbers.
It was during COVID, and employment was so high because we shut down the government, we shut down the country.
Even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs by most people's estimates, at least 200,000. He lost manufacturing plants. Ask the auto workers how he lost auto plants. We have grown over 20 new auto plants. He has an agenda. Let's just deal with it right now going forward, not to mention what happened in the past.
I mean, I'm saying you asked me a specific question. Let's not answer that question. Let's stay on Orange Man Bad. Okay.
He has an agenda that would include making it more difficult for workers to earn overtime. An agenda that would include cutting off access to small business loans for small businesses, an agenda that includes tariffs to the point that the average working person will spend 20% more on everyday necessities.
Oh my God, that's nothing like paying 3 times as much for groceries. I agree. God, I didn't realize how bad the Orange Man was. He's terrible. And you, of course, have been amazing. So I guess that's true. Yes. Roger comes up and says, thank you, Larry, for explaining this. But Waltz, no, you are wrong on that. We in no way are in the same universe as Waltz. All right. Well, am I going to tell you that Waltz is an actual communist? No, he's not an actual communist. Is he much further left than Harris? Yes. Much further left than Harris. Harris is whatever, right? Yeah. John remembers. John knows Cuomo. Thank you, John. John's a fellow New Yorker. He remembers Cuomo. Cuomo's exactly like her. They're the same animal. Right? Cuomo wasn't a Democrat. I mean, he was officially Democrat, but Cuomo would be whatever it is to get in power. He would change his party in 5 seconds. He'd be a Republican tomorrow, Libertarian, Green. He'd be whatever. How do I win? I'm that. John remembers. He says Kamala Harris is Cuomo. Whatever she has to be in power, agreed. Yes, thank you. That's the piece I was trying to bring up. Maybe I didn't do that well, so hopefully he'll help this up. So yes, there we go. The AC, how are you, sir? Thank you for being a member. Yeah, I honestly have no idea what, if anything, is Harris's ideology. Correct. You're right. No one does. It's whatever will get her in power. That's why she can't even answer a question. She asked a very simple question, 2 of them. And Harris first dodged and talked about feels and good stuff. And then she went, and by the way, Orange Man Bad. That's what happened. So yes.
And an estimated $4,000 more a year on those everyday necessities.
See that?
To the point that top economists in our country, from Nobel laureates to people at Moody's and Goldman Sachs, have compared my plan with his and said my plan would grow the economy, his would shrink the economy. So
okay, they did not do that because she has no plan. That's utter lie. 100%. No, absolutely. Yes. Missy says, bots unite, so much spam. Fine, but let them spam. If it gives me, let them all spam. As long as I'm getting people to pay attention, spam away, bots. Bots don't stop. Bot lives matter. Just please, whatever you do, keep going. I will take all of the interaction I can get. All good. Yes, 100%.
Some of them have actually assessed that his plan would increase inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So the facts remain that Donald Trump has a history of taking care of very rich people. And I'm not mad at anybody for being rich, but they should pay their fair share.
Fair share. And look at her smile. Yeah, these rich people should pay their fair share. That's what it is, except just not me. Yeah, all of those other rich people should pay their fair share. Just not me. Look at her smiling and like this. She's loving every minute of it. There's no, that didn't answer the question. That doesn't matter. None of that. It's just like, yeah, keep saying beautiful stuff because I now feel good about myself. And the only reason why she's doing this is so she can feel good about herself. That's it. That's what she's doing. It is, yeah. And so she said nothing as usual.
Cuts for the billionaires and the top corporations in our country.
See that?
And then not really paying much attention to middle class.
So here's my question. If I remember correctly, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure the tax rate prior to Trump, and someone could fact check me if you want, prior to Trump was like 30-something%, 33, 35%, something like that, some in that area. And then Trump loaded to like 20-something, 20, I think 21. If someone could fact check me, that'd be great. I think it's 21. And then when Biden ran, what did he say? fair share, pay their fair share, blah, blah. And he raised it to, oh, he didn't. He didn't. Yeah. He didn't go to 35 or whatever it was. It's like still at like 21. It hasn't changed. So all this terrible or whatever, still here. She's still here. Why didn't you change it already? Why don't you stop it? Because you're not going to. Because you're a corporate hack like all the rest. You're not going to. This is just to make the poorest feel better. That's how she thinks. You dummies will believe this. We've been saying fair share since Clinton. I wish I was making that up. We've been saying fair share since Clinton. And what's happened? Nothing.
As families, my perspective on the economy is when you grow the middle class, America's economy is stronger. And there's
I like that. So how do you do that? Oh, shut up. Vibes, freedom, aspirations. That's it. Aspirations. And don't forget Orange Man Bad. Can you shut up, please?
Empirical evidence to prove my point correct.
Then let me ask you about taxes, because lots of people will say, I don't like Donald Trump, but he cut my taxes. He didn't just cut corporate taxes.
Yeah, but hold on. The AC says, right, Pence was so in charge in the Trump admin that he almost talked those people into stringing him up. Awesome. No, but there's a difference here, AC. And Pence still says it. Pence still says it and has said it. If you hear Pence talk about the Trump administration, Pence will openly say, I am so proud of what we achieved. I am so happy of what we did. Pence takes full credit, full acceptance that he was in the Trump administration. He's positive, happy about it. He jumps on board completely. He just says he disagreed what happened J6, that he disagrees with. But he's all in. Never does he back out. I'm wondering, when did you hear the word Biden come out of her mouth so far? Oh, not at all. And if you keep listening, you know how many times you hear it? 0. Again, this is actually working. It looks as though Trump is the president now. If you came from another country and just walked in and went, what's going on? Oh my God, this Trump guy must be a terrible president. I'm glad this Harris woman is going to beat him and do great stuff. That's what it sounds like. So yes, you're right, but she's not embracing Biden. Pence did embrace Trump and still does. He will still, if you hear him talk, he'll say, I'm so proud of what we did, blah, blah, blah. He's still proud of it. He is.
He cut individual taxes. Now that expires next year. And there's some people confused saying, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Under a Harris administration, at what income level should someone expect their taxes to go up? And that state and local tax deduction that's currently capped and matters to a lot of people in blue states.
Yes,
you're going to lift that cap?
So first of all, when it relates to anybody making less.
Now, she didn't answer either of the first 2 questions. Now, this one, it was a 2-part question. One was the dollar value, and then one was the SALT tax. See if she answers either.
Less than $400,000 a year, your taxes will not go up. Your taxes will not go up.
So that officially then is rich. So if you make $400,000 a year or more, according to her, you are now the super rich, the wealthy. You got to pay your fair share if you make that kind of money. Okay, good, makes sense. We ever heard that before? Oh, right, every Democrat for the past 10 years. Right. Yet somehow stuff's still bad.
And in fact, under my plan, taxes for 100 million Americans will actually be cut, including $6,000 a year for young couples for the first year of their child's life in a tax cut, a tax credit, essentially.
Okay, tax cut, tax credit, not the same. I appreciate that, not the same. So what you're saying here, this woman who everyone calls a communist, she's saying tax cuts work. Isn't she? Wait a minute. You can't say that. Tax cut. You can't say that. You're a Democrat. You can't say that, right? She is. She's saying tax cuts work. But then she won't give a tax cut. She won't give a tax cut. She'll give a tax credit. So if you do what we say, you get some cash back. If you make that much money. So, yeah.
By expansion of the child tax credit. And why is that? Because during the first year of a young couple, of a person's child's life, they're going to need help buying a crib, buying a car seat. And we all benefit when they're actually able to do what they naturally want to do to take care of their child. And
see, we all benefit when other people have kids and we give them money. Dude, just give them money.
Expanding that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home.
What happened to the SALT tax? Did she talk that? She didn't. Okay.
If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go?
You can't raise corporate taxes, right? So, okay. This is a very good question. What are you going to do?
Forward those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it.
See, you got to pay your fair share. Because here's what I know. Whenever you raise taxes on the wealthy, it always works. There's a couple of exceptions. Always. That's the exception. It never works. It never works. How do you know that? Well, Larry, you're lying. If you raise taxes on the heavy hitters, the tax rate used to be 90%, Larry. That's how it used to be. That's true. And the second you started having those high tax rate, what happened to the tax code? It went to 11,000 pages. I'm not joking. Because once you went to a tax rate of 90%, the wealthy said, I'm not paying that shit. What are you, crazy? I own you, politicians. You want to make the poorest think we're paying a lot of money? That's fine. You can play your game, but we're not paying that. So here's an 11,000. That's not an exaggeration. To coin a phrase, I'm not joking. Now it's more than that. But back then, it was 11,000 pages when they first started that shit. 11,000 pages. What was that? Exceptions. So the rich people can still get all their money. That's what actually happened. Tax cheats, as we call them, or tax avoidance, what we call it, became massive. Because they're not going to pay 90%. They're just not going to. That's a joke to even think they would. Of course not. It made the poors, and I'm using a joke because that's how they treat you, right? Oh, you're a poor, I'm a poor, we're all poors, right? So the poors now get to believe, gee, 90%, we'll get them. You're not getting anybody. It's 11,000 page tax code that you will never read. They will pay wealthy, they will pay a bunch of people who are tax accountants to make sure you don't pay any taxes. And, well, we have to do it. For 4 years, you couldn't and or didn't. So why would I think you'll do it now? That's why she asked the question. You haven't done it in 4 years. You can do it now? Of course not. Well, now I have magic powers. I have magic Harris powers, and I will all of a sudden make all the rich people pay their fair share, which never happened. We have raised taxes on the wealthy in the past. We have it here in New York State. And what's happening? They're leaving in droves. Stephanie said, how do you do it? Right? She knows they're going to leave. It's what happens. In case you guys don't know this, these last 2 years have been the number one time, the highest amount of Americans who have actually denounced their citizenship. I'm not joking. Because if you're American and you go overseas and live, they still tax you. That's not true for other countries. For us, it is. You pay American tax no matter where you live. Doesn't matter. You got to pay. That's how that works. No matter what, you got to pay. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they're leaving. And now in New York, we have tons. Where are they going? Florida, why? No income tax. Tennessee, why? No income tax. Wyoming, why? No income tax. They're all going there. New York State, because of migration, the IRS said New York State has lost $20 billion, with a B, $billion in revenue from migration, from people leaving, many of them wealthy. This does not work. It is a bad idea. It is dumb. And they keep saying it anyway. Lunatic, thank you again, my friend. You were just out there, man. $2. Corporate welfare is okay. All welfare okay. I'll be forward. If you're going to give to everybody, I get it, but I'd like to give to no one. I'd like to make an environment where people can actually do well on their own. That would be great. Goes on for $5 more. Thank you. Children's are easy to raise when you are natural. Oh, that's true. Cloth diapers expand the growth. Fresh puree food, cheap. Make your own baby food. Look, I'm not saying you can't raise a kid. I'm not saying you can't raise a kid on the cheap. You can. It is possible. But man, it's just not easy, right? Particularly so many single moms you have out there now. This is not an easy thing, because even if you are to raise your kid natural and get cloth diapers and puree your food and make your own baby food, wash the diaper, you could do that. But then how much time is that woman now going to go work and make money? Is the government going to pay her? And if she goes in a dole, I think you're right. If the government's going to pay you and you just, here's your money, I think 100%. You can do all these things. But what if she has a family? What if it isn't her own kid? She has like 2 kids or another kid, whatever. What if she's got a husband or a boyfriend who she lives with, right? What about that? What if she has elderly parents, siblings, whatever? I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily the easiest thing to do. Can it be done? Sure. but you may be asking people too much, particularly in a world where another thing I'll add on top of it, a lot of people wouldn't even know where to start. Say you wanted to do this. You were like, yes, I'm gung-ho. I want to raise my kid natural, whatever. Okay, not easy to figure out. Also challenging. I mean, luckily in America now, to your point, Lunatic, there are a lot more communities that could help somebody if they wanted to go this route. Support, knowledge, YouTube channels, the whole deal. So there is a higher chance for someone who wants to go down this road. But then how do you support yourself? You're going to have some type of support structure, whether that's family, friends, community, government, something. Otherwise, you can't do it. So I get the point, but it's easier to ask, right, than anything else. It's easier to ask. That's the issue. And that's the only point I'm trying to bring up. It's much easier to ask. So
it's about paying their fair share. I am not mad at anyone for achieving success, but everyone should pay their fair share. And it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax.
That's a lie.
Than the richest people in our country.
Bill Gates just said it this week. If he was in charge of taxes, he would have paid more. But how do you find that line?
Wow. If he was in charge of taxes, he'd pay more. You can always just write the check, my friend. You could. You could just fund something. You could just fund the MTA if you want to. You could. You do have options, brother. You do. I mean, you do. You could do it. So, and haven't you heard this line forever? I've heard this line forever.
To make sure corporations are paying their fair share, but they're not leaving our country.
Bingo.
Well, listen, I work with a lot of CEOs.
Okay. She didn't answer the question at all because she never does. And she just goes, okay, yeah, that felt good. Vibes, 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 vibes. Okay, now, how do we make sure they don't leave the country? Because they do in droves. They keep leaving our country.
I have spent a lot of time with CEOs, and I'm going to tell you that the business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share. They also agree that.
Can you imagine you going to someone who runs a large corporation, as she says, the engine, right? And going, hey, do you agree people should pay their fair share? They're going to go, yeah. Now, should I raise taxes on corporations? No. None of them are like, you know what? I can't wait. I can't wait till you raise taxes back up to 35%. That'd be amazing. None of them going to say that. Not one of them will say that. Not one of them. None of them are like, you know what? They might say, oh, yeah, you want to make the workers pay more? Oh, they might say that. Yeah, let the workers pay more. You want to give me more taxes? Great. I'll take all taxes you want. I'm just going to throw another 1,000 pages onto the tax code to ensure I can get around it. But yeah, raise my tax rate to whatever you want. No problem. Make it 90, make it 105%. Do that. Make it 100. Make my tax rate 500%. Awesome. I'll have my guys write laws to make loopholes. So I'm going to pay about 7% either way. Doesn't matter. So yeah, go ahead. Make my tax rate whatever you want.
When we look at a plan such as mine that is about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, investing in bringing down costs, invest in entrepreneurs like small businesses.
Why? This is the biggest thing that people don't understand. She's saying we have to invest. Why is government investing in small business? Shouldn't big business? Shouldn't bankers? Shouldn't investors? Shouldn't they all be doing it? Why have we shifted to think that it takes government to do so? And a second piece, when has that worked? And I will go back to what I'm talking about for today, right now. In New York State, right now in New York State, government is doing exactly what she just said. Government is doing exactly what she just said by running the cannabis industry, also by investing in all medical facilities, also by the military industrial complex and upstate New York jobs. And what's the outcome? The outcome right now in New York State has the worst income disparity, inequality in the entire country. New York State is the worst when it comes to people leaving the state. People are leaving our state in droves. New York State is collapsing in every way possible. They're doing exactly what she's saying. But when the state does not invest and instead opens it up for others to grow and invest, it's better. Because the state has no idea how to invest in business. It's clear. It's obvious. No idea. Now, finance people screw up too. So do banks. But that's private sector. And they'll figure it out and they'll take their losses. Sadly, we'll probably bail them out. I shouldn't have just said that. But assuming we don't bail them out, they'll take their losses and move on. And that's what's supposed to happen. And it isn't. So yes. Lunatic, thank you for the $10. My point, Larry, we've lost our basic ways to fake abundances and crappy convenience. That's true. These goods and services make humans sick, mentally and physically. I think if you look absolutely at what RFK Jr. is saying, that's 100% true, right? I'm looking at 3 to 5 generations ahead, not today. I think it's today. Oh, you're saying what you want to do. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. It took me a couple seconds to get that. Okay. Yes. I think in the future, we're going to have to go there. I think what you're saying is what many people will be doing. Some of you may have seen there was a some whistleblower on the Hill talking to Congress or something, talking about everything's bad. All the 3 other agencies are bad. They're destroying us. There's no hope. Stock 3 to 4 months of food away. Pray and get guns. That's literally what he said. I mean, not those words, but almost those words. So he's like with you. He's with you, man. He's like, yeah, it's over. There's no way to get around this. It's done. And I hope he's wrong. And I hope you're wrong. I hope we don't have to wait that long. It doesn't happen. I hope we can fix this soon. But I agree with you. We have lost our way. And this is my point I say often. We don't even have the institutional knowledge to do the things you're saying. We're gonna have to look to YouTube for that. I know, weird. Speaking of looking to YouTube, if you want me to do well on YouTube, click the button that is like on the tube of you. Do that. It does matter. If you have not subscribed, if you haven't subscribed to my page as you're watching it, you are like you're a mean person. That's who you are, a mean person. If you want to, you can follow what a lot of guys doing already. Super chat me if you want to, or you can become a member. I'm trying to grab member comments too, $49 per month. Click that join button. If you haven't shared this on Twitter or on Facebook, what is wrong with you? Share it now, right now. Share it. You should be sharing it. Why are you not sharing it? Share it, please. It does matter. If you can't retweet it, please do so. All that stuff does matter. Absolutely. So yes. Sarah says, I find Chris Cuomo, the reporter, to not be unbiased, and he gives me whiplash the way he changes teams. He must be like his brother. Yes. I got to tell you, I think Chris Cuomo getting booted or leaving, however it happened from CNN, I think it made him rethink something. I think it made him think differently. I think so. Yes. Mary says, Larry, you keep me from going back on my Zoloft. Lol, thank you. Yes. No Zoloft. If you can break yourself from Zoloft, you should. Please break yourself if you can. Look, I'm not saying just stop. Some people require these drugs. Absolutely take them. If they make you better, they help you out. Awesome. But if you can, absolutely, if you can shift, please begin to shift yourself off if you can. Absolutely, yes. Sarah goes on to say, thank you for being a member, by the way, Sarah. Holy crud, this must be since last night's. The view stream was so amazing. The spies have arrived. Yeah, yes. That's what happened. Yes, but it's all good.
The overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits. Part of my plan for the economy is investing in new industries in a way that we have active partnership with the private.
This is the worst idea. When has this private-public thing worked? It fails constantly. Why would we even think this? This is the idea of socialism that people think about when they see this. When they hear this, that's when they think, oh, it's socialist. The government's going to own anything. This is where people start thinking communism, socialism from these types of comments. That's what I start thinking. But sadly, this is actually mainstream. This is actually corporatism right now. It sounds like it's communism. It sounds like it's socialism, but it's actually corporatism because these people are going to pay to get the companies are going to pay these politicians to get the government handouts. That's how it's actually been. Right? That's how it's actually been. It sounds like she's being communistic or socialistic, but she's actually talking about she's talking about legal corruption. That's all she's talking about.
Private sector. I've worked with the private sector my entire career. Even as vice president, working with some of the biggest banks and biggest tech companies to increase by billions of dollars the money.
She's worked with them all. Meanwhile, all those tech companies have been spying on us, have literally, again, in court, found out to be true, have been spying on us and pushing us off and stopping us from being on their platforms. And as you see with me, you see all the time, literally shadow banning me, all those things. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Liberty of Death says corporatism is fascism. Yep. John agrees. That's literally corporate fascism, merger of corporation and government. Yes, absolutely. That's absolutely true. 100%. Yes. AC says, Zoloft was great for my anxiety, but it made me sleep all the time. It made my girlfriend very, very frustrated. Yes, expand. Yeah, look, sometimes you need to have medicine to make yourself feel better, to get yourself straight. I get it. All I'm saying is when you can get off, you should get off. You should try to do your best to be more natural to the best of your ability. I'm totally with Lunatic on this one. You want to be as natural as you can be, right? Some people can't go all natural. I get it. No shade, but you should go as natural as you can be. Absolutely. So yeah, that's funny, but very much true. Alexa, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much, guys. Every membership counts. Please, if you become a member, please do so. Being a member is awesome and it's cool. And I try to grab your chats. So even better. Yes.
Going into community banks to increase access to capital for small businesses. Why do those biggest corporations and CEOs do that? Because they know those kinds of investments, like in our small businesses, in startups and entrepreneurs, actually strengthen.
Look at her smiling. Yes, you're so right. Oh, you're so go. You go, girl. You go. That's literally what she's saying. Go, girl. Say the good things. Say the things that make sense. Don't answer any of my questions at all. Answer no questions, but sound good. Literally, look at her. She can't stop smiling. Like, my God, we're gonna beat the orange man. We're gonna beat the orange man. She's thinking that right now. We are so gonna beat the orange man. You can see it in her face. And the funny part is, the camera isn't even trying to hide it. Like they're not like hiding it. It's right there. Why? Because there are millions of people who will watch this and go, oh my God, Stephanie Ruhle, she's a real journalist. She's a real journalist. And if she's nodding her head yes, then this person must be correct. Yeah, this must be correct. Oh yeah, not.
It's America's economy overall, and everyone benefits. So this is not about bilking anybody, but it is certainly about saying,
okay, who mentioned bilking? No one did, but her. Why? She knows it's about bilking people. And who are you going to be bilking? Us. Because how are you going to find that money to give to all these corporations? Right? And the next piece is when you decide, right, that I'm going to give this money to this company, never do they say, I'm just going to give the money to the company. They always have to give the money to the company, and here are all the strings attached. Here are all the regulations that go along with that so that you can't do it the way you want to, but the way we tell you. And this way, when it fails, and it always fails, let me be very clear, it always fails. You cannot tell me one time since like World War II, you can't tell me one time that when people said, oh, we're going to achieve X, here's the government joining, that it actually worked the way it was supposed to work. Whatever numbers they say, and this has been since I've been a New Yorker, right? Many years. Many decades. Never has when a company comes in and the government goes, we're going to pay you the money to do the thing, whatever they've said, the number of jobs or the amount of money they're going to generate or whatever, they have never made it work one time. Never. If the jobs are supposed to be 20,000, it'll be 10,000. So instead of generate $1 million, generates $500,000. Whatever. Never. So why would you decide to change that?
Let's make sure that we create opportunities for everyone to grow wealth. I believe that it is not sufficient, and it should not be our goal to just make sure everyone is working. That should be the baseline. That should be a given. And let's create an economy where people have the ability to buy a home, to start a business, to take a nice vacation from time to time.
Look at her smiling about this. Maybe I'm missing this. You guys not seeing this? Aren't you currently in the administration? Weren't you a senator before that? So haven't you been in federal office for decades? Haven't you been? Haven't you been in federal office for decades? And before that, you were at the state level. So you've been part of government for decades. Yet this is still terrible. It's crazy. She's somehow the rebel.
Time, right?
For people who want to buy a home, yes, getting a $25,000 kicker would be great. But it's not just affording a home. We don't have enough in this country.
You're absolutely right.
And one of the main problems are regulations and rules, strict rules at a local level. How does the federal government cut through all that red tape and get down to, I know, the suburbs of Pittsburgh and say.
The funny part is they act like it's not the federal government, right? Like it's not the federal government. The problem is it is the federal government. How does it, it's these local people. It's not you, right? It's not Biden, because Biden's clearly perfect and wonderful and awesome and should literally be on Mount Rushmore. And I wish I was joking to say that. Nancy Pelosi actually said that Biden is so great, he should be on Mount Rushmore. When I say that right now, I'm sure Mike Voss just threw up in his mouth. I'm sorry. I should have warned you to get your bucket before I said that, Mike. I apologize. But as you know, she literally said that. So clearly he's awesome, amazing, and should be on Mount Rushmore. It's not his fault. It's all the local people. You local poors, you keep screwing up and making everything hard. No, it's federal guidelines and restrictions. Federal guidelines and restrictions do a whole lot of this. Now, local does too, but they don't make it any easier.
We're going to have to build some affordable housing here. How do you connect the two?
So you're absolutely right. So across our country, people rightly are concerned about the cost of housing. So it's home ownership, to your point. We need more supply. That is, without any question, part of the solution. Creating more supply under my plan includes creating tax incentives to work with the private sector and home builders. Part of my goal and the plan would be to create 3 million new housing units for rent and for ownership by the end of my first term. It includes also what we must do to cut red tape. You're absolutely right. It takes far too long and there's too much bureaucracy.
I love this. So now she's a libertarian. When did that happen? First Zuckerberg, now her. We're all libertarians now. Look at that. We're going to cut some red tape. I'm just curious. Haven't you been in charge for like years? Haven't you been in federal government for like years? Isn't that true? Yeah. I don't know. I think I hit a nerve with the medicine here. Alexa's like, weed is my medicine. Weed's also natural, so nice too. If you can do weed, that's amazing if you can. Yes, absolutely. The AC says, I'm for things that are good and against things that are bad. Kamala Harris. Yes, agreed. 100%. Yes. Let's see if I can grab here. Minor Threat says, antidepressants, ESP, SSRIs are no better than placebo in large analysis. Well, I'm unsure about that. I don't know the details of this. I don't. All I know is I know some people need it. Some people can get around it. Some people need it as a bridge. Some people need it the rest of their lives. It all depends on the person. All I'm saying is the more natural you can be, I think the more natural you should be, whatever that is. I don't know enough about it to be very forward to Minor Threat to be able to say person X should or shouldn't be on. I don't know enough. I do know that, again, as natural as you can get, you should be. That's just, I feel like this is common sense, right? To the best of your ability, you should be able to be as natural as you can be, whatever you can get. I feel like that. So yes, Missy says, I have bipolar disorder, major depression disorder, and severe PSD. It is in mine, everyone's best interest that I stay on my meds. There we go. Thank you, Missy. Yes, stay on your meds then. Yes, absolutely. Yes, all good. Jean says, my antidepressants take the edge off my depression so I can function. There we go. I love that. And the Devisitator says, when you want to get off, get off. There we go. That's my point. You do you. 100%. You do you. The AC, thank you for being a member, says, Stephanie is definitely with her. Yeah, she is. She is. A user has been banned for naughty words, says, Slay Queen. Yes, indeed. I love it. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Associated with home building. And I say that as a devout public servant. I know that we have.
Hold on. Devout. Did you hear that word she used? Devout public servant. It's a religion for her. Devout public servant. It's a religion for her. Wow. Okay, you've been a public servant this long. Why does it still suck?
To reduce the red tape and speed up what we need to do around building. And that is going to require working from the federal level with state and local governments. And it's going to be different in different places.
So this is literally no plan. No plan. Her plan is, we got to reduce regulations and we'll work with local people to reduce them. That's not a plan. Like every single candidate forever says that. That's not a plan. This is just her saying more stuff.
Depending on the needs of that community, the needs of that local government.
We'll just fix the things. Stephanie, why do you ask me dumb questions? We will fix the things. What's broken? We'll fix it. We'll look and go, that's broken. Fixed. Done. We'll just fix it. What are you, stupid? What's wrong with you? We'll fix it.
That municipality, but working in consultation and coordination, and also around incentives that we can create. For example,
tell me.
Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars.
She literally said nothing. She used the old in terms of. Whenever they say in terms of, that means I'm thinking of what to say. So we're going to eat, in terms of food. We're going to have a little bit, in terms of dinner. Food in terms of meat, chicken. You could have just said, we're going to have chicken. But you added the in terms of 7 times to sound smart to say chicken. She does it all the time. This, you'll hear in terms of all the time for her. She does that. That's her filler word. She can't answer this question. Why? Because she has no answer. We're going to fix the things. That's it.
And looking holistically at the connection between that and housing. And
see that? We're just going to look at the connection. Why are you people, Mike, why are you bothering her? Why are you being so mean to her? She's going to look in terms of dollars at the connection holistically between transportation and housing. Done and done. Why didn't Trump do that? See? If Trump would have looked holistically, I wish I was making it up. It's what she actually said. When I said it sounds so goddamn stupid. Why? Because it's goddamn stupid. That's the reason. I'm just going to look holistically in terms of dollars, the relationship between transportation and housing. Done. What's wrong with you people?
Looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments.
See, we can create incentives holistically for local and state governments. Or, let me give you may I provide a retort? You could stay out of their goddamn business and just protect the local people when they get scammed by local bullies. You could do that. You could just protect the rights of the individual people and their property rights so they don't get scammed. You could do that. Or you can holistically look of the in terms of and incentives. You could do that all as another thing, which means you'll be more involved and you will fail again.
To actually engage in planning in a holistic manner.
See, you got to engage in. Why don't you guys get this? Sarah, what's your problem? Why don't you get this? She's going to engage in holistic planning. No one else did that. She's gonna. Don't know why Biden did. Wait a minute. Why didn't Biden do the engaging in holistic in terms of what?
Includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people.
Then let me
see affordable housing for working people. She just gave you the entire plan. I know. Look, Mike, don't be mad. You didn't write it down. You should have written it down because the plan was so good. Now you're mad. You're jealous. It was a great plan.
Ask you a business that matters a lot to this town.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something now, because you haven't answered one question. But boy, you go, girl. So let me ask this next question, which will also make you look really good. You'll be able to use words like in terms of and holistic for this one too. Here we go.
U.S. Steel.
Yes.
Right? When you think Pennsylvania, when you think Pittsburgh, you got the Liberty Bell in Philly, and you got U.S. Steel in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Japanese company wants to buy them.
Yep.
You are opposed to this idea. Many people are. But if the deal doesn't go through, they have said people could lose jobs. They could close mills. They could leave the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, that is like moving the Liberty Bell to Newark. So
you could move the Liberty Bell to Newark. Is that bad? I guess maybe, yeah. But yeah, they could leave. Okay. Now, question is, how do you use holistic and stuff in this?
Which is more important?
Which is more important?
Most important that.
Okay, which is more important? So letting them be bought, right? Or letting them move? Which is more important? It's simple question. Come on, simple question.
That we maintain America's ability to have American manufacturing of steel by American workers for a number of reasons.
Okay, number of reasons.
Which includes...
By the way, when she also says a number of reasons, another thing. That's another thing. I both of them. A number of reasons and in terms of. So she doesn't know what she's going to say. So it goes a number of reasons, and which includes this thing. Go ahead.
Again, back to the point of growing our economy and how I think about the economy overall. Investing in new industries. There is not a new industry that I can imagine that is not going to require steel as a manufacturing of steel as a fundamental part of what it accomplished.
Plastics, paper, Bitcoin mining. I can think of probably 7 if I had to ask. You don't have to have steel in an industry. It's not required. And even if you had it, you wouldn't need that much of it. You could build most of your buildings, I guess, already built, right? You build new buildings for everything. Do buildings have to be of steel? Gosh, she just made that up. You asked the question, she went, let me go back to investing in new industries. How about leave people alone? And sorry, keep going. Don't answer the question.
And having American workers in an American company manufacturing that steel for those new industries is going to be critically important, not only in terms of our economy, but also in the context of national security. Most people now realize if we didn't before the pandemic and the strain on supply.
Man, we're on pandemic now. Okay, wasn't the question, is it more important to keep them here, or is it more important to let them get bought? Was that let them go under? What was it? I don't remember the question. Oh no, I'm sorry. Can the Japanese buy this thing or not? Is basically what they're saying. Can the Japanese buy this thing or not? And you're saying you don't want them to buy it, but what's more important? And we went to pandemic and we went to investing in stuff we did it in terms of where's holistic in this one?
Chains and an over-reliance on foreign manufacturing that we have to be intentional.
And look at her nodding. Yes, you're saying such fun things. Yes, you go, girl. We're winning. We are so going to beat the Orange Man. All right. I saw that. We haven't had Orange Man bad in a while. Orange Man bad's going to come up, right? And she's going to say, and by the way, Trump did all these bad things. We haven't done Orange Man bad in a while. And whenever you don't have an answer, go to is Orange Man bad. So I'm going to guess Orange Man bad comes right now. This is my guess. See if I'm right.
About U.S.-based manufacturing. And of the products that we have to prioritize, steel is one of them. And that's always going to be my priority.
Steel workers.
She didn't answer the question at all. No Orange Man bad, though. Okay, maybe I'm wrong on this. Let's see if it comes next.
Matter in this country. Unions matter.
Yes.
In 2016, Donald Trump connected with unions. He saw them.
Still does.
There was an emotional connection. But what he didn't do was deliver policy. In the last 4 years, we have seen huge wins in this country for unions, but not all unions.
We have seen decent wins for unions. That's kind of true. There's been some decent wins for unions in this country. That's true. A couple of years, true. There has been some good ones. Yep. But I don't know if that's true with the steel workers. Steel workers, there's about 80,000, maybe give or take, steel workers in America. And they've been going up since 2012. So for about 10 years or so, steel workers, the people who work in the steel mills, not just the workers, obviously, like even admin people, support staff, they've been going up every year under Trump and Biden, by the way. They've been going up the whole time. So we have been doing better with steel workers in general. Unionization has been better. The union's only about 11% of our workers, and about half of that is public sector unions. So about 5% of the workforce is public sector unions, give or take, and about another 5 or 6% is private sector unions. So unions are doing okay, but not great in our country. They're just doing okay.
Unions have gotten behind you. I want to understand, when the Teamsters decided not to endorse you.
Yes.
What was their reasoning?
Let me walk down this road again. For those of you who haven't realized this, the Democratic Party of 40 or 50 years ago was absolutely the party of the working class. It absolutely was. Those days are gone. The Democratic Party is not the party of working class anymore. The Democratic Party is the party of educated women. That's what it is. 2 educated women right now, love Democrats, makes total sense. It's the party of educated women. The Republican Party has not yet become the party of the working class, but it is absolutely moving towards that. It looks like it's about to be, like it's on the cusp of that. This is why the Teamsters didn't openly do that. The other part about unions is unions that are more educated women, like teachers unions, full of educated women, they're going to say Democrat. But will the others, the more workers unions, physical labor unions, will they wind up going Republican? It looks like they are. A lot of the law enforcement ones have already, like fire, corrections, police, a lot of them have already gone Republican. So that's already starting to happen. So again, this question is the same as the last question. Look, obviously you're amazing, and these dumb working class people don't know any better. Why are they so stupid? That's the question she just asked.
What are they looking for?
Well, let me go back to our just previous conversation. I'm very proud to have the endorsement.
Let me repeat everything all over again.
The steelworkers and almost every other major union in America, because I stand by workers and I stand by the importance of being able to join a union and to understand the benefit and the value of unions. And I understand the importance of investing in new industries and working actively with the private sector to grow our economy.
But I'm asking because there's this idea we want something more from her. What is it?
Well, here's the thing.
Why are they so dumb? That's what she's saying. Why are the poor so dumb? Can you tell me why they're so dumb and don't realize how awesome you are? Why don't they realize how great you are?
Back to your point about previous election cycles, Donald Trump made a whole lot of promises that he...
Okay. I was a little late, but she did fall back to Orange Man Bad. Okay, I was a little bit late in my prediction, but she got caught with, so why don't they get how awesome you are? Why are they so dumb? Well, why don't they understand how awesome you are? She's like, damn, I don't know. I know, Orange Man Bad, done and done. Here we go.
Did not meet, and one would argue broke.
He broke
Look at Lordstown. He said he was going to...
Don't sell your homes.
Yeah, don't sell your homes. And what happened?
Go girl.
It shut down. Outsourcing under Donald Trump. His policies that are about putting, tens to hundreds of % tariffs.
John Deere.
Yes. So part of the challenge, and I don't disagree that it's a challenge, got to earn the vote of everybody, is reminding people of fact, regardless of what somebody says in a small rally.
Okay, I'm trying to remember, how many of those Democrat votes did you earn during the primary? See if I remember. Look, if I look down the state list of how many she earned in the primary, and I also have to count Biden and then Dean Phillips, and there was Marianne Williamson also. RFK Jr. was going to be in it too if I add them all up. Oh, zero, nothing. You did not earn one vote at all. Zero, none, not one vote in the primary. Done, zero. You earn no votes, 0 votes. So now you're going to earn all the votes now. How? You're going to do it by having a detailed policy. Ooh, no, not that. By speaking honestly. No, not that. By having actual answers to questions. No, not that either. I remember 2 ways you're going to do it. Vibes, which you're good at. That's awesome. And Orange Man Bad. Okay. That is the way you earn things. You earn them through vibes and Orange Man Bad. That's how you do it. Yes.
Somewhere. And I think that's really important. And that's part of what I'm doing in this campaign is to remind people, just like here in Pittsburgh, of the reality of who has stood with union labor, who stands for American manufacturing, who stands for American jobs.
Can I ask you about tariffs? Because you just mentioned it. It's not just with one company. Donald Trump's sort of big idea is this broad-based tariffs across the board. You and many others have said that would be not only disastrous, but it would be a direct tax on the American consumer.
It would be a sales tax on the American people. That the independent economists have already measured this by.
So you're going to dump all tariffs? Is that what you're saying? Are you going to become a libertarian? I guess she's become a libertarian. Look at that. She's become a libertarian. There we go.
The sales tax of doing a 20% tariffs on all imports that he has described would be a 20% sales tax, in essence, on basic necessities for the average American worker, average American family, totaling almost $4,000 a year. That is no small matter. Here in Pittsburgh, when I'm talking to a group of folks who work here.
I thought the question was, why do the poor not think you're awesome? Wasn't that the question? And she went to Orange Man Bad and still on Orange Man Bad. Okay, I guess that answers the question.
Here, who live here. And when they hear it might be $4,000 more a year for them, look, people can't afford that.
But tariffs aren't unique to President Trump. President Biden has tariffs in place. He's actually looking to potentially implement more.
See that? Oh my God, that's a good question. Before we go there, Don King's speech for Jose Harris. Ooh, I like that. That is good. I like that. Look at you go. Very nice. Lunatic goes on to say $2 thank you. Modular hempcrete homes. Google it. I don't have to Google it. I was talking about hempcrete in 2018 when I was trying to, when I was trying to simply make all hemp and cannabis, all of it, no matter what it is, completely just like a plant, so that we can create localized hempcrete in New York State. Yes, I'm already on it, brother. I've been there. I've been there for 6 years. I've already been there. You are correct. Hempcrete is great. We should be doing that, and we won't, because we won't. That's it. Yes.
Where do you come out on? Is there a good tariff, a bad tariff?
Well, part of it is you don't just throw around the idea of just tariffs across the board. And that's part of the problem with Donald Trump.
The problem with Donald Trump is he throws tariffs across the board. That's his problem. But she's just going to make sure she has tariffs that her cronies agree with. That's different. She will make lots of money as her cronies will do this. And of course, to make sure the money, Pete, we missed you the other day. Someone actually asked this question. Pete is in the house. Thank you, Pete. The national debt. 35 trillion, 303 billion, 965 million, $164,452.88. And as always, as I read it, it went up. Yes.
Frankly, I'm going to, and I say this in all sincerity.
Tell me.
He's just not very serious about how he thinks about some of these issues.
See that? Donald Trump isn't serious about thinking about stuff, but she is. He's doing willy-nilly stuff, but she is making sure that all of her corporate donors get exactly the tariff that they paid for. Look, they're writing checks to her and her PACs, and they got to get back what they paid for. She is transactional. Well done. Psh, you guys don't get this.
And one must be serious and have a plan, and a real plan that's not just about some talking point ending in an exclamation at a...
Wow. She just said you have to have a real plan and not just talking points. Man, like, when you say that, and you know how insanely hypocritical that is, like, does it bother you, or just like, nah, whatever, it's whatevs? No, I'm special, I'm better. Yeah. Wow. Mike says, Harris's steel answer is, a magical business will appear and solve it. She's got magic powers, man. She's got vibes. It's the vibe power. Vibe powers activate. Form of magical business that will solve all my problems. There we go. Done. And she has made it happen. All done. That's it. Johan, MUFC, I think that's from Manchester United. Yes. The American dream has been placed by affordable housing for working people. That's not bad. I like that. Matt, you are here. Thank you for being a member, my friend. She looks so strained and unnatural, almost like she's a huge liar. As if she was lying, Matt. Isn't it amazing how she looks as if she's lying? But we all know she's being honest, because she's what was the word she used? She's a devout public servant. So come on now. Absolutely.
Political rally, but actually putting the thought into what will be the return on the investment, what will be the economic impact on everyday people.
That's it.
And when you look at my plans, you will see what those benefits will be. $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. You know what that means? Then you're creating the ability of that working person to build intergenerational wealth. See,
if you just give people $25,000, the housing prices will not go up at all, because it's magic. To Mike's point, magic business with magic, so that won't happen. Not just that. That $25,000 will allow people to buy better houses, and they'll all of a sudden be more houses, because she didn't have an answer for housing anyway. And that money will come from people paying their fair share that they couldn't have happened in the past 20 years. Yes, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is not a plan. This is not a plan.
The work of a $6,000 child tax credit, doing the work.
So just have a baby when you're in your new house, and you get $6,000 too.
Of a $50,000 tax deduction for first-time small businesses, startups, because right now.
That's a real plan.
It's a real plan, because
Okay, hold on. This is a self-report. This is a self-report. This is literally Among Us and a self-report. Look at her face. Like, what? She's actually shocked. This is not a you go girl. This is a shock. Why? Because she said, that's a real plan. I haven't heard one of those since we've been talking. She actually said it. That's a real plan. Yes, because there haven't been any. I got to go back.
First time small businesses, startups, because right now.
That's a real plan.
It's a real plan because.
She's like, what? You actually have a plan? Holy crap. I thought it was this whole just fluff. I wasn't ready for this. There's an actual real plan. What is going on? Self-report.
Right now, and again, it's about paying attention to the detail and being serious about it.
Gotta be serious.
I'm serious about my enthusiasm.
She's serious, Matt. You playing around. That's your problem, Matt. Look at Matt. He's like, huge gains. Because you playing around. Like Trump's playing around, willy-nilly, just putting tariffs on everything. That's what Trump does. He's not thinking like she does. She's serious. She just said so. And she said she's going to be holistic in terms of whatever, she'll be holistic and she's thinking. She'll solve the things. And then to Mike's point, magic business comes and we're good. See, Trump didn't think about magic business, did he? Trump didn't think about magic business. She did. What's wrong with you guys? Harris got the plan. Magic business, serious in terms of holistic, done. And then she had an actual plan, and Stephanie Rule almost fell out of a chair. She said, what? That's a real plan? You got real plans here? Oh, my God.
Enthusiasm and for small businesses and my belief in what they will do as part of America's economic.
See, she has enthusiasm and beliefs. That's what she's got. What do you got, John? You don't have those. You just jelly. You jelly. Because she's got enthusiasms. She's got beliefs and enthusiasms. What you got?
Like engine.
On Friday. Sorry.
No, so looking at the fact that right now the tax deduction is $5,000. Nobody in this year of our Lord 2024 can start a small business with $5,000. Very few can.
Yeah.
So extending it to $50,000 tax deduction for startups.
Tax deduction is not cash. Or I'll give you another option. You could just not hammer them for starting a business. You wouldn't require it. It's like, okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to handcuff your arm to your leg. And what I'm going to do is, here's how I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. After I've handcuffed your arm to your leg, here's what I'm going to do. Think of this great plan. I'm going to unhandcuff you for 6 hours a day. That's the real plan. So 6 hours, you get unhandcuffed. See how I helped you? Yo, but you handcuffed me in the first place. Yes, but I'm giving you 6 hours off. But you handcuffed me in the first place. Yes, but my plan to solve with enthusiasms and faith is to give you 6 hours. Free. You can just do what you want for 6 hours, having your leg and arm unhandcuffed. Well, you could just take the handcuffs off, period. Why would I do that? Then how could I save you? See, I gotta save you from myself. So enthusiasms and belief and holistic and vibes and shut up. Shh. You go, girl. We're done.
To generate the innovation and the ambition of the ideas that are present and among us, but need
the ideas that are present and among us. This is stuff that matters so much. Why aren't you guys getting this? That's what it is. We have to make sure this happens. And you guys don't understand. To do that, you need enthusiasms and you need faith, or you can't do that. Okay? She's got it. Plans.
Fuel to be able to actually achieve the goal.
Okay.
His plan is not serious when you lay it out like that, but it's serious.
See that? Trump's plan is not serious. You people. You guys thought it was serious. That's your fault. Your fault.
Problem over the last few years has been inflation. Luckily, it's cooling, but prices are still high.
Yeah, I agree.
It's cooling now.
You said you want to take this on by going after those who engage in price gouging.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as somebody who supports free markets, who's a capitalist, how do you?
She's a capitalist. See that, Mike? She's a capitalist. Yes.
Go after price gouging without implementing price controls. Because once we get in this zone, people start to get worried and they say, I don't know what she stands for.
Mm-hmm.
So just to be very frank.
Okay, be frank.
I am never going to apologize for going after companies and corporations that take advantage of the desperation of the American people.
So you would maybe say, for example, there was a company or corporation or government entity that was, say, using laborers in a way that was unethical and holding on to them and hurting them in a way that was unethical, would you go against them? What if it was someone like, say, for example, a state prosecutor, say in California a couple years back, who would purposely keep Black men in prison basically as slave labor, knowing that they should leave? Would you be against that person? Oh, that one you wouldn't? That one you wouldn't. But the local bodega during a hurricane who can't get refills at all and will not be able to sell anything for days after, raises prices to ensure people don't take everything out of his store and to make sure you can still sell things and make money when it's gone, that guy you're going to punish. Is that right? That's the guy you're going to punish? Yeah, that guy you're going to punish.
And as Attorney General, I saw this happen.
Bingo. You did see it.
In the midst of an emergency, whether it be an extreme weather event or even the pandemic, we saw it. Where those few companies, not the majority, not most, but those few companies that would take advantage of the desperation of people and jack up prices. Yeah, I'm going to go after them. Yes, I'm going to go after them. And that is part of a much more.
But the question was, how do you, again, has she answered any question? I'm not sure she's answered any of them. And I don't think she's answered even one question. I mean, maybe she has. If anyone can remember one question she'd asked, I'd love to see that. But I don't think she answered even one question. The question was, how do you handle this without price controls? And all she said is, well, bad people are bad. So I have to get the bad people. That was her response.
More comprehensive plan on what we can do to bring down the cost of living, including housing, including the everyday needs of the American people.
So let's just bring down the pricing. See? Let's just bring the pricing down. Is that the magical business thing? Minor threat. How do we do this? Do we just bring it down magically? She hasn't said how. I think Mike's right. I think her entire thing, I think Mike is correct. Her entire plan is based upon a magic business. I think that's true. Now, does she have this magic business already created? Is it going to magically appear once she wins? I'm not sure how the magic business pops up, but I hope it can also do like anti-corruption and stuff. That'd be amazing. I mean, maybe. I don't understand how you do that.
Friday, you are going to the border. Immigration is complicated. One of the issues is an economic one. And no one is eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio. And I'm glad not to be talking about that. But there are people there.
You're literally talking about that. You're literally talking about that. And I'm glad no one's talking about what I'm talking about now.
That are stressed, that feel that they're at capacity. Communities around the country that have legal immigration, many have said we're at capacity. And many feel like the government has said to them, well, adapt, sit down, be quiet. This is how it is. What would a Harris administration do for those communities who've taken in many, many legal immigrants, but are at.
Now, again, here's the piece that I think is amazingly well done by both of them. It is choreographed perfectly. This question makes it seem as though Trump is in charge and he screwed up the border, right? Isn't this how it's framed? Because it's almost like she's not in charge, like she was never the border czar, like she wasn't in charge of anything. It's like, what are you going to do to fix this problem that's here now that I guess Trump did, because we won't say who did. We won't mention Biden. So we'll just assume, we'll first just start, dogs and cats in Ohio for you to bring in this dumb, crazy orange man. And now we'll just blame the whole problem on the orange man. And it's amazing. I know some of you probably are angry because you don't like it, but I'm not about whether I like it or not. I'm trying to show you how well this is done. And the average person who doesn't usually watch this, and all of a sudden she pops on the MSNBC and watches her and hears this, he's thinking, yeah, how are you going to fix it? I guess Trump messed it all up. That's how it comes across. It comes across like she's the rebel. Like she's the one who's going to come save us. Like Trump's been in office for 8 years. She says we're going to turn the page from the last 10 years. Wasn't Biden and her in charge the last 4 of the 10? And then 2 before that? Wasn't that Obama? But somehow Trump's 4 years has become 10 years. And this has been sporadically done. And I know some of you will be angry when I say it, but it's true. It's been done very well. This is actually very well done. And if I'm not here saying this to people, some people will just go, oh, yeah, I guess Trump did the whole bad thing with the immigrants. His fault for the migrants. That's going to come out.
Capacity.
Well, first of all, we do have a broken immigration system, and it needs to be fixed. And if we take a step back, months ago, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress came together with others, proposed a border security bill that would have put 1,500 new border agents on the border to help those hardworking border agents who are there right now working around the clock.
Roy says, one can dislike all her policies or be frustrated. She lacks specifics, but she's serious where the former guy is like, I have concept of a plan or I have bigger rallies. You're not wrong, Roy. You're not wrong. That part that he did, that Trump did in that debate was terrible. And I said it when it happened. I said it was bad then, and it was bad. And they use it against him. If you watch any left-leaning media, and anywhere, they use that all the time. 100%. That shot him in the foot so bad. 100%. You're right. You are totally right. That shot him in the foot.
Put more money into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing Americans around our country. And
wait a minute, fentanyl? I thought we were talking migrants. What happened? Oh, what? And okay. Are you admitting that the migrants that you let in have fentanyl? You've been saying that has not been the case. Is that not the case? Oh, okay. She's a Republican now. Okay. She went from being a communist to a libertarian. Now she's a Republican. She's all the things. Harris is all the things. Mike, she's one of yours now, man. Look, see? It's good. She's going to close the border, I guess. Look at that.
Devastating communities. Would have put more resources into our ability to prosecute transnational criminal organizations, which in my career I've prosecuted. Donald Trump got word of the bill, realized it was going to fix a problem.
Augustus is saying Harris is the better option. Augustus, if you notice, I'm actually not saying either is a better option. In this case, I'm not saying either is a better option. You're not hearing me say either one. I'm saying, look at how the media does this. That's what I'm saying. Look at how she is being coddled. Look at how she's not being pressed. Look at how they don't have to answer the question. Look at how there's no fact checking. Look at how all this is being done with her. Look at how the person interviewing her is smiling and nodding and all good. Oh, I love you. And it's amazing. You go, girl. That's what I'm talking about. And yesterday, the show I talked about was the same thing. How on The View, all 6 of those women were just, you're so awesome. You're so awesome. No one was being pressed for anything. That is my point, right? There was a guy on Bill Maher. In fact, she was on Bill Maher too. Stephanie Ruhle was on Bill Maher last week. And they were giving this guy hell. I forgot his name. But the guy on there is not a Trumpster. He's like, I'm not voting for Trump, but she's got to answer a question. He was angry, saying, why is she treating us like we're children? Why is she not answering a question? And Stephanie Ruhle was like, no, you don't understand. Stephanie Ruhle was saying what you're saying, but Trump is bad. But Trump is bad. Augusta, that doesn't give her as bad as people think Trump is. And he's not as bad as they think he is. He's just not. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. He's just not as bad as they think. They think he's the evilest guy on the planet. It's just not true. But it doesn't matter if you think that she's better. Okay, you think she's better. That doesn't give her the right to insult us like she does. It doesn't give us her the right to ignore us and treat us like freaking children. It doesn't give her the right to be it also doesn't excuse how the media coddles her like there's no tomorrow. She should get the same aggressiveness as anybody else, whether she is the better option or not. Because of that coddling is why people like Marianne Williamson had no shot in the primary. People like RFK Jr. had no shot in the primary. People like Dean Phillips had no shot in the primary. You might go, well, they were all bad or whatever. They had no chance. And if they had actually had to go up against somebody, whether it was Biden or her, she either would have lost, in which case Democrats would have said, see, she's not the one, or she would have been better by now because she would have had to fight those guys. Either one. She either would have beat them and be better and have actual questions and policies and answers, or she would have got a butt kicked and we would have had RFK or Dean Phillips or Marianne Williamson who would have had better answers. So I'm not saying you're right or wrong here, and I can see why you would think that. What I'm saying is this interview is a sham, and it makes people think she's better than she is. And what it does in the long run is it says, as long as the other guy puts up a monster, As long as the other guy puts up a monster in the other person's views, I can be terrible too. I just have to be not bad as the monster they put up. That's not the way we have to work these things. It's unacceptable. It's destroying our country. It's why in 2020, it's why so many people, Democrats, supported Donald Trump with money, because they wanted to put their monster, orange man, on the ballot so they could win and have a terrible candidate who was Biden. That's why. This is encouraging this. And next year, they'll just swap it. They'll put on whoever the boogeyman is for the Democrats. And the Republicans will back the Democratic boogeyman, right? Whatever. Ilhan Omar will run. And the Republicans will back Ilhan Omar and for the boogeyman so she could be in charge of something. And then Republicans go, we can be terrible. Don't ask. Just give us fluff questions. We don't care because Ilhan Omar is the end of the world. This is not the right answer. I hope that at least clear what I'm saying, at least. If you disagree, I get it. But I hope you at least understand what I'm trying to say. Lunatic, man, you are lunatic tonight. I appreciate it. $2. Thank you. PFM, pure effing magic. Harris's plan. Yeah, that should be her song. Do you believe in magic? That should be her song. Yes, be perfect. Another $10. This is terribly done. Just realize people can't think anymore. This is the fault of multiple generations. We gave up our sovereignty and rights decades ago. Yes, this is a Z movie, just ridiculous. You're getting it, right? And this is my point. A lot of people who wouldn't watch this don't get it. I want to say it again. Millions of people, probably tens of millions, will watch this and think, that makes sense. And the person who's interviewing her is literally going, that's a good plan. That's great. That's awesome. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, it's terrible. That is my point, Augustus. I hope you get why I said what I said. That is my point.
He wanted to run on and told them to kill the bill. Don't put it up for a vote. He killed a bill that would have actually been a solution because he wants to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And that's part of what needs to be addressed. And my pledge is.
Aren't you running on a problem too? See, this is, I go back to the Pence issue. Well, I agree. Pence totally bailed on Trump at the end. Of course, he didn't like J6. He thought it was garbage. He's out. Okay. But Pence doesn't back down on the Trump for years. Pence will say openly, very proud of it, glad what he did. He was on board. He was with it. He will tell everybody that. She's not saying anything. She's like, Biden. I don't know. Who's this Biden guy you're talking about? I don't know. I'm Harris, and I'm going to run for president. Biden, I don't know who Biden is. I don't know. That's what she's doing. Right? She will only take credit for what she can, what's good, and everything else she ignores.
That when elected president, if the American people will have me, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. And we need a comprehensive plan that includes what we need to do to fortify not only our border, but deal with the fact that we also need to create pathways for people to earn citizenship.
And I want to just.
Okay, got you, like that. But I thought, even your own words, you have decided that you were all of a sudden not the border czar, even though you were, but fine. So I'll ignore that. But you did say your goal was to find the root causes of the border problem. That she admitted to. She did say that part. So if that's the case, when you came back, why didn't you have a plan? I'm not joking, right? She said she wasn't the border czar. I mean, she was, but it's fine. I'm going to take her at her word. Maybe she, I don't know, fell into a time loop or something and she doesn't remember, whatever, fine. So you weren't the border czar, even though you were. Okay. But you did say that your job was to find the root causes of the border crisis. That's true. You said that. Well, you came back from that over a year ago. Where's the plan? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Where's the plan? There is no plan. You have no plan. You're trying to become a Republican all of a sudden, right? Mike, she wants to be one of you all of a sudden. Yeah, now obviously you got to cross the border or whatever. No, you have no plan. You don't have no plan.
Ask you about a little job and a big job. Okay. The first one, just a fact check. Okay. Because your opponent,
there is no little job. Okay. There's no such thing as a little job.
Okay, fair. Because your opponent almost every day seems to be talking about this. So I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working out at McDonald's? Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay. Now the other job.
But it was not a small job. Like I did the fries. I mean, yes.
Okay, for a small period of time. But then let me ask about a big job.
But to your point, if you don't mind, before you get to the big job, there's a part of the reason I even talk about having worked at McDonald's is because there are people who work at McDonald's in our country who are trying to raise a family. I worked there as a student. I was a kid who worked there trying to raise families and pay rent on that. And I think part of the difference between me and my opponent includes our perspective on the needs of the American people and what our responsibility then is to meet those needs.
Then to the big job.
She said nothing. Again, let me say something. I'm going to just talk and say nothing. And she said nothing. Yes, and she said nothing. Wow, terrible. Thomas says, most businesses lose money in the first couple of years. $50,000 deduction is symbolic and will have no economic effect for startups. Wow, you're right, because they won't make any money, so we can't deduct it. Oh, you're right. There we go. It's not a gift. Thomas, well done. I didn't even see that one. That one slipped past me. Well done. You're right. If you're not making money, you can't, if you're not making the money, there's no deduction. You're not spending it. You don't have it. Good point. So the first year, you get a $50,000 deduction. Awesome. How much you make? Nothing. What's your deduction? Nothing. Okay. Well done. Thanks, government. Appreciate it. You hooked me right up.
You have laid out policy in great detail.
Yeah.
But the economy.
Oh, AC, enthusiasm. Now, where is that from? You got it. Okay. Some of you may have enjoyed a certain movie. AC knows where that comes from. Yes, that was right before Al Capone, played by, oh my God, who played Al Capone there? Is that Robert De Niro? Robert De Niro played Al Capone, I think, in that one, right? Didn't he play Al Capone? And he had enthusiasms. And one of his enthusiasms was baseball. And he used the baseball bat to beat someone to death. So yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. You picked it up. Not many people pick up my enthusiasms comment, and you did. Well done. I do appreciate that. John goes, such brave and stunning journalism. Yes, absolutely. Yes, correct. Good. Augustus says, well, the host is so bad I had to pause, and now I guess I'm just here reading. I was actually interested in the interview. Well, again, I'm sorry. I did show that it's MSNBC, Augustus. I'm sorry. If anybody does not want to hear me chat and crack jokes and kind of walk through this, I understand. You can just go to MSNBC and the interview is there without me yapping at all. I hope you enjoy what I'm saying, but if you don't, it is right there. I put it there so you can see it. It is MSNBC. There's the top of it. You can see that's the name of it. You can go watch it yourself if you want to. Please feel free to do so. But I hope you're enjoying what I'm saying. But yes, you can check it out any way you like. I do not want to stop you.
Economy is an unpredictable beast, and you are running for a job that takes extraordinary instinct and guts.
Yeah.
What's the last time you had to make a gut decision? This here is very prescribed, very controlled.
Yeah. Probably the biggest gut decision I've made most recently is to choose my running mate. Yeah. There were lots of good, incredible.
Look at her. You go, girl. You go, girl. She can't stop. Stephanie Rule can't stop doing you go, girl. Littleton, thank you, brother, for $5. Appreciate it. There's no such thing as a small job. Harris's former job slogan. As a headmistress, the hand gestures, I'm dying laughing. Yeah. When you're a kid doing a job like that, maybe there are small jobs, but it may not be small to you. How about that? You may have a small job, but it may not be small to you. How about that? I'll do that. There we go.
Candidates. And ultimately that came down to a gut decision.
I know I'm out of time, but then I just want to ask you a question from my gut.
Okay.
Because today we're talking about we're talking about the economy.
Yeah.
And people don't think often about reproductive rights being an economic issue, but it is.
Okay.
A woman's ability to plan her future, her education, her life. Today, and in the last few days, Donald Trump keeps talking about it and how in overturning Roe v. Wade, he helped women. He protected women. He says they're miserable today. They're poorer today. They're more vulnerable today. He said he will be the protector of women if elected. Can you respond to that?
This, by the way, is an amazing way to end an interview. I mean, it's an amazing way to end an interview. whether you like Harris or not, or whatever your feeling is about her, she is very good on this issue. That's just true. She is very good on the women's reproductive rights issue, on women's health issues. She always knocks it out of the park. She's very good at this. Trump cannot compete on this issue. He just cannot. It is impossible for him to compete in this issue. And she wraps it up with a softball. Here you go, Harris, knock it out of the park. I assume, I haven't seen this. I'm assuming she knocks it out of the park because this is her issue. And she, every time I've seen her answer it, it's a smack to Donald Trump. She's very good. We'll see if she does it this time. My gut would say she's going to knock this out of the park, but we'll see.
So Donald Trump is also the person who said women should be punished for exercising a decision that they rightly should be able to make about their own body and their future. Mm-hmm. So I think we would all agree that as a result of that perspective that he has about women, he also then chose 3 members of the United States Supreme Court who did as he intended, undid the protections of Roe v. Wade, and now in state after state, you see laws being passed that do punish women. Laws that, I mean, most recently, a heartbreaking story resulted in a young woman dying, a mother of a 6-year-old. Heart-wrenching stories. And that's for the listener, much less their family. So, look,
this is not her best. I'm actually disappointed in her. I feel like she wasn't ready for this. Generally speaking, she devastates on this one. This is a mediocre answer. I mean, it's still bad. Look, even mediocre, she's still good on this issue. She just is. But this is not a great answer. I'm disappointed in her doing this. I thought it would have been, she would have had a better answer to this. It's not bad, but still.
I think the thing about Donald Trump is that, you know, I don't think the women of America need him to say he's going to protect them. The women of America need him to trust them.
Can we trust you?
Yes. Yes. I am not perfect, but I will tell you, I'm always going to put the needs of the people first.
Madam Vice President, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, why did I punish you all with that? Why did I punish myself with that? Why did I do that? Because again, I wanted you to see what it's like when someone does not get a heart interview, right? That was, again, whether you think Harris is a better choice or not, this was a softball interview this was basically a conversation between 2 people. That's what it was. And trying to make her work, trying to make it good. Could you imagine if Trump was on the other side, how that would have been? Could you imagine? Or the reverse. Could you imagine if she was being interviewed? I'll say the opposite. Imagine she was being interviewed by Sean Hannity, right? Imagine Sean Hannity interviewing her, or imagine not her being there, Stephanie being there, but Trump being there, right? Imagine that. And it shouldn't be that way. Clearly it is. I'm living in a fantasy world thinking it isn't, but it shouldn't be. What should be true is that someone who is not a shill, right? And look, again, I'm guilty. I have been that shill for people. But when I am obviously that shill, right? I have been surrogates for candidates. And it's open. I'm a surrogate for the candidate. So you know I'm talking the talk. I'm starting my sentences with Governor Johnson has been clear, blah, blah. Bobby Kennedy Jr. has said, that's what I'm saying. This person is supposed to be some type of, I don't know, journalist? That's not true at all. I mean, she's not. Guys, if you like what you're saying, please click that like button. It does matter. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, please retweet. Please do that. If you have not subscribed, subscribe already. What are you thinking? Please do that. If you want to super chat me, you can. Thank you so much. Members, guys, the easiest way to keep me going is membership. If you happen to be watching on Larry Sharpe YouTube, you may click the join button and become a member. It's $5 a month. The more I get, the more I can do this. I can try to do every day to the best of my ability. I can try to keep these going. I can do longer shows, and I do them during the day if I have to also. I can't do it if I got to work as much. So every little click does matter if you can do so. And of course, please, no matter what you do, click the button that is like. That does matter. Absolutely. Click the button that is like. All righty. My Michael says, no matter where you pause the video, come look, she's lying. That's funny. That's good. That's very funny. So Jean says, Harris consistently says that we need to forget about the past and focus on the future. That's because she doesn't want anyone to know that she built her career putting young black men in jail. Also true. Also true. That is also true. Yes, both of those things are true. The AC says, I mean, even I call it MSDNC. I've heard that more than once, my friends. Absolutely, yes. I've heard that more than once. Absolutely. All righty. Let's see if I can go down a couple more of these. PJ Kate says, oh, for typical liberal response, I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yes. Hold on. Read my comment again slowly. What do you think I meant when I said head? Oh, got it. Okay. I'm not going to, it just clicked, Lunatic. Thank you. I'm going to pretend like I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm going to move on because I don't want to get banned. But yes, I get the joke now. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. We'll move on, though. We will move on, though. Yes. Straight Chillaxin says, hello, my fellow enjoyers of liberty. This is your cue to smash like. Yes. Thumbs up or down if you're a socialist. I don't care which one. Whatever floats your boat. Yes, you. It's free. It is free. Yes, it is free. Absolutely. It's totally free. Hold on, see if I can grab a couple more of these. You guys give me so many of them. I can't always get them all. Robert says, Kamala Harris just reads as wrong because she's pretending to be something she's not. Her real political beliefs are probably center-right at best. You know, I think you're right. I think who she really is center-right. I do. And some of you Republicans just want to probably jump out of the chair. But I think you're right, Robert. I think she actually, because when she was as an AG, she was far more right than she was left as an AG. I think you're right. She was. She was harder, much more back the blue. I think you're right. I think if she were to be herself, she would be more center-right. But so I tell you, she's not herself. She's not. She is what you can't win being center-right in California. You got to be Democrat. That's why she was for Medicare for all, then not for Medicare for all. She was basically a socialist. Now she's a capitalist. She's whatever. But I think you're right. Robert, that's a very good read. I think you're exactly right. She is center-right overall, but she would never do it. She doesn't care anymore. Now she's all about what's going to get me elected? I'm that. Yes, absolutely. Stacey Joe says, you are the best. Thank you for the wisdom and coverage. Your commentary is the only way I can watch it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm trying my best to do that. Yes. NorCal Meach says, man, I'm glad it's over. That was painful, Larry. I did it for you guys. I did it because you guys. Yes, absolutely. Olivia Des says, Kamala was probably given the question beforehand. No, she was not in this one. There's no need. I mean, this was going to be a softball. If they were given ahead of time, she would have had a better close. Right? She would have had a better close. That close was mediocre. That close was mediocre. She did not do a great close, right? That's the issue. Alexa says, don't be disappointed. Her buzz was wearing off. Give her a try, Mudgy. That's why it wasn't that good, Alexa. You know, it's too long. That's why it was too damn long. That's the problem. Yes, that's the issue right there. It was too damn long. Absolutely. Adrienne, thank you so much for being a member. What about the people on Social Security and Medicare and don't have supplemental insurance? What if you're not making enough to have the tax credit or do anything for you? Band-Aids for mortal wounds. Yes, we have to make things better. Yes, government giving you cash is great when you don't have any cash, but you have to be able to make more money. You have to be able to support yourself. You've got to be able to pay your bills. That's the issue. Peekaboo asks, again, thank you for being a member. Larry, if you were advising your campaign, you'd be telling her to distance herself from that Deedling Oak creep too. I'm not sure. Right? I'm not sure. I'd have to think about how things are going there in that regard. I'm not sure. Odds are, yes, I probably would be. Look, I got to tell you, they're doing it well. They're making it as if she's the newcomer and Trump is the incumbent. And it's actually landing. Right? It's actually landing. So it's not, I mean, if I would have thought it would have worked, I probably would have done it. But if I didn't think it was going to work, I might have been scared. But it's working perfectly. And the Trump campaign's not fixing it. They're not. It's not working. The Trump campaign, and this is the reason why to be forward, and I know this just because how campaigns work. The Trump campaign has spent literally months trying to set up, and this is prior to prior to Herb coming aboard, when it was still against Biden, they spent months prepping for, a full press against Biden. All of a sudden now Harris is here. Team wasn't ready. Jumping through hoops. Then Kennedy drops. Then Kennedy joins. Then Tulsi joins. The Trump team has not responded the way they should respond. They just haven't. And I'm sorry if you guys love Trump, maybe upset about that, but I'm telling you the truth. The Trump team has not responded as well as it should have yet. They got to get back on the right way and fix this, or they're going to struggle, because clearly she's doing well. Clearly she is doing well right now, and she's going to have more of these great softball things. So they've got to be able to make the shift, and they just haven't. And it's working. Most Democrats are seeing this as, they're seeing it as if Biden's already retired champion and should be on Mount Rushmore, and now Trump is the president and she's trying to stop Trump. That's how the Democrats are seeing this now. Clearly none of that's true, but sadly it doesn't matter if it's true. That's how Democrats are seeing it now. They are doing a very good deal making it happen, right? That's the issue. They're doing a very good deal creating that narrative. It's actually working. And Pickett goes on to say, yeah, Trump's campaign hasn't been able to pivot effectively. Correct. They haven't. And they've got to get on it like now, or they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer. So yes. Joel says, October surprise, Biden stepping down and Harris getting sworn in to boost November numbers. I got to tell you, Joel, that would be brilliant. If I could do something like that, I would. That is brilliant. If that happens, if they really want to win, that's the move. You are completely correct. That is the move. If they do that, oh my God. They do that, I think Harris wins. Yes. They do that, I think Harris wins. Because that would be the October surprise, that now he'd be removing the first woman president. She would be the first woman president at that point. Yeah. That's amazing. So I wouldn't put it past them, Joel. If the polls start getting bad, maybe. Roy goes, oh my God, the former guy would blow a gasket in an affair. Yes, you're right. He would. But what can he do? What can he do? I think you're right. But what can he do? It wouldn't matter. Agreed. Guys, as I've asked you, please click that button as like. I will be on again tomorrow at 7. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but I'm probably doing an AMA tomorrow. I haven't done an AMA, and I will be in DC this weekend. So I probably won't be able to do a show on Saturday or Sunday. So odds are high that I'll be doing an AMA tomorrow. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. By the way, when this is over, you know who I got to please. Mr. Rhythm. Al Gore. Rhythm. I gotta please him. So please do me a favor. When this is over, come back on wherever you're watching and put a comment. Mr. Rhythm loves that. It keeps him very happy. I will see you all very soon.